Yes.
The three kings are following the star in the east, which signifies the birth of the Son of God. So the three stars point directly down. Then, as the night goes on, the three stars are pointing directly down at the horizon where Sirius rises. This is the star in the east, which signifies the exact spot of the birth of the sun. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, it's kind of hard to describe it without having a picture of it.
We'll talk about the significance of the star Sirius.
Well, the significance of the star Sirius is multiple and is very interesting because it signifies the reflection of the sun. One of the things that it did at this coldest time of the year was it was thought to be a reflection of the sun because the sun rose in exactly the same spot. So if Sirius was there, then it was the signifier that the sun was still coming up. Okay, so it points the spot. It reflects where the sun is going to rise.
Interesting.
And so we have reflected also. Remember, I talked about the procession of the equinoxes, right?
Right.
A 26,000-year procession. In the same song, Three Kings, we have the reflection of the procession also, because the song goes, "We three kings of Orient are bearing gifts. We've traveled afar." Then there's a part of it that goes, "Field and fountain, moor and mountain." If we look at the spot in the stars where, and this is all going to be in my book. It's in the Mysteries of Christmas book, and it'll all be charted out so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And it's a lot more clear when you do that. But the axis mundi that I talked about, the chimney or the ladder to the North Pole, runs right directly through the ecliptic, and right below the ecliptic in the southern area are these spots: field, fountain, moor, and mountain. All of these points are right down there. So this represents the procession of the equinoxes, and this is why the three kings are thought to follow the star from the east into the west. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at it, actually the three kings are ahead of the star coming up, and the sun is below it. So they appear to be following it to the west, but they're not following it. They're preceding it, right? Mm. So it says, "Westward leading, still proceeding," in the Three Kings song. Mm-hmm. And what that's referring to is the procession of the equinoxes. So this song is very revealing when it comes to knowing who the Magi were. Now, another thing about these Magi, they were thought to come from the east. And many of the old representations of the Magi have them wearing a hat that looks just like Santa Claus's hat. Now, this Santa Claus hat is another one of those interesting points.
So when you describe the Santa Claus hat, it has a white furry band with kind of a cone-shaped, flexible, it doesn't stand up, but it's kind of a soft material plus a middle white ball at the end. Is that the same hat we're talking about?
Right. That's a little more stylized
than
it needs to be. Basically what we're talking about is this pointed hat that kind of just falls over. Now, we can find it on a Mercury dime. We can find Mercurius, or actually, I believe that the person on the Mercury dime isn't actually Mercury. I believe that person is Hermes, who was the son or daughter or hermaphroditic child of Venus and Mercury. But that's another story.
Okay.
But so we can see the hat Libertas, the goddess Libertas, is always shown wearing the hat. And if we look at the Liberty pennies, the old ones show Liberty carrying this, what's called the Phrygian cap, or the Liberty cap, on a staff. Now, the Liberty cap, or the cap which Santa Claus wears, also is shown by these Magi, the three Magi, ever since 100 BC, when the story was told in Zoroastrianism. The three Magi are wearing these Liberty caps. Liberty caps are associated with the actual Liberty cap mushrooms, which are the Philosophy semilanceata mushrooms. These are all over in Europe, and they're in the Pacific Northwest in California. In the United States, and they're quite familiar to a lot of people who study mushrooms, because these are the mushrooms that are thought to produce true liberty within. The knowledge of liberty, or the freedom from religious and government oppression, is found by experiencing the mushrooms and the psychedelic state that they produce. So this is one of the reasons why Santa Claus wears this liberty cap. And I go into this really extensively in all the different gods and representations of this liberty cap that are found all over through Europe and all the way down into even in there's mushroom representations in the caps of the kings and the pharaohs of Egypt. So, but it's very interesting to see that another association with Christmas and Santa Claus is his hat.
Yes. They don't skip on anything.
Let's see, we've talked about Santa Claus and Shamanic and German and Nordic gods.
Yes.
And we talked about him wearing the red and white, because the shamans do the same thing. They're personifying the mushrooms. We talked about the reindeer, which are the shamanic herders that also eat the mushrooms, and that's why they can fly, by the way. That's why they're thought to fly, is because the mushroom they take is, the Amanita muscaria, the common name is the fly agaric, or the fly mushroom.
Yes.
Because when you take it, you can leave your body and fly, or the senses that you're leaving your body and fly. So, we talked about the reindeer. We talked about the chimney. We talked about the stockings. Oh, the tree. I guess we did. We talked about the tree because the pine tree is one of the trees that the mushrooms grow under. So the present of Christmas, the reason that we put brightly colored packages underneath the trees is to represent the mushrooms which grow under there, which are the gift of the gods. So all over through all these different areas of the world, we're talking about these mushroom cultures. The mushrooms are always considered to be a gift of the gods, and when we put a gift under the tree, which was something that was done all as far back as in Egypt by Isis, who, when in the association with the birth of Horus story, a pine tree grew overnight, so Isis put presents underneath it to represent the growth of, or the birth of Horus, of course, who is the sun again, the sun of the heavens and the sun of the earth. And so that's why we put presents under their trees. So everyone who's got a Christmas tree in their house, look at it right now, because if you see those presents underneath that tree, if you go walk around into the nature and you're looking underneath pine trees, you're going to find the mushrooms there. And a lot of the places that grow mushrooms, that grow pine trees, they also grow these Amanita muscaria mushrooms for people who happen to want them. So one of the best places to find amanitas is a Christmas tree farm. But you can also find them in nature, and that's probably the best way, is to go find your own patch up in the mountains. Get thee up to the mountains and find the kingdom of heaven.
Now, it's amazing. So, in a sense, then you can look at from the winter solstice up to Christmas, in a sense, as a rebirthing for the people of the planet at that time, because they have been able to harvest and also take the mushroom, and in a sense celebrate that life will go on, that the sun is returning. Is it a ceremony of rejuvenation of the human spirit and body as much as it is of nature?
Yes, and that's one of the things about the gift of the mushroom, is that the gift of the mushroom allows you to have the life review. You have the time doesn't exist when you're on it. So as you start to come into the experience, then time stops, except for it speeds up for you. So in other words, you see your whole life pass before your eyes in a matter of minutes. And this is where you go to judgment. You're judging yourself. And it's just like the death experience is. People that have had near-death experiences are describing the exact same things as the experiences that are produced by mushrooms. And people who do the mushrooms say the same thing. They say it's exactly the same as these people are just